Hey everyone, it's Wednesday. We are here with learning about how to align your purpose and your priorities, or vice versa, right? Um, what I want to really talk about today is I think a lot of the times where we feel really busy or overcommitted and like really washed out is, or washed up, wiped out, whatever the phrase you use to describe yourself when you're feeling less than, is number one, do you know your purpose? Do you know your assignment? Do you know your calling? And I am the first person to tell you that um, right, I'm the first person that's going to tell you I've spent tons and tons of money on coaching and courses and everything just to figure out who I want to be when I grow up. I mean, whether you've done it in hiring coaches, or you've spent a lot of money going to college, right? I have a college age daughter, and right, you spend a lot of money trying to figure out what your purpose is on this earth, right? A lot of time, money, effort. I mean, look at all the Facebook ads that are coming at you, Facebook groups, even like branding, marketing, all of that. It's like, who's your ideal client? Who's your target market? And all of that, which is good, right? You need those things in your business, but sometimes having too much of that analytical stuff, it takes out the passion that you have for your purpose and your calling on this earth, right? So I want to address that first. And I wish, on any course or whatever people are trying to sell online, there's a button that says start here, find your purpose, know your purpose, right? um, and I've talked about it before where um, there's a lot of coaching and products and courses I've invested in, but not knowing my purpose and not knowing my calling. And that's not exactly true. I've known my purpose and I've known my calling. I've just been too scared to step into it and fully embrace that. So there's that, right? Do you know your purpose? Um, and are you confused on your purpose? So there's like knowing and not knowing, but then there's also knowing and stepping into it. Okay? So there's that piece. So that's number one. Knowing your purpose first before you start doing all the things in your business, right? Because I've done it. I have so many offers. I have so many like course ideas, so many PDFs, or those opt-ins, so many of those built. And every time I feel like I want to release it, I'm like, it really doesn't feel like me, doesn't really feel like what God's called me to do. It was kind of like a moment of inspiration or hit that I got after listening to what someone else is doing. Is like, oh, maybe I should try that, you know? So there's that one. And until you have clarity on your purpose and your vision, and that's why, God's been leading me to talk a lot more about him and bringing him into your life, him into your business, because he's the only one that knows who you're meant to be. Sorry to say, your coach doesn't know, your advisors don't know. I mean, unless they're tapped into God and you get a prophetic word. I'm just saying, God is the only person who truly knows and understands why he created you, because he's your creator. So if you're confused about your purpose, get with him, get in your prayer closet, start praying and learning and understanding who you are in Christ, in him, and then that will help you figure out your purpose in life, right? In this time of COVID, right, I've pivoted. You've seen it. I created a new Facebook group. Some of you are here from the old one into the new. But it's because I've spent time in the Word. I've spent time with him. I've spent time surrounding myself with people who get God, hear from God clearly, right? And, while testing the spirit and knowing the source of where the advice is coming from. Especially if you have coaches who might not be aligned with God, you really have to steward that relationship well. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is you can do it in tandem, right? But what I want you to do, and I started off with purpose because I know most people start at this step. Number two, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. Let me dump out my brain, put it on a piece of paper, and then you just start listing everything that you have to do, right? But what's wrong with that is you'll start listing things that belong to other people, right? I did a live on my regular page this morning. Like, yes, you have a title of mom. You have to take care of your kids, right? There's things associated with that role, and it's a leadership role. I'm going to just tell you, if you're a mother, you're already automatically a leader in your household, right? So you have this title of mom. There are certain responsibilities that come with that. But then as your kids grow older, just like anyone, like if you were in a company, right? Your kids are older. They're growing in your company of your home, right? As you wouldn't expect a new hire at your job to still like need your help for everything. Otherwise, why would you hire them? You might as well get rid of them, right? You can't get rid of your kids. But I'm saying that there is a parallel as you start building, people in your organization up and giving them a little bit more autonomy. That's the same thing that needs to happen with your kids. So, right, so there's systems for your home that, you do, or once they get older, you don't do them anymore. You delegate them out to your kids or whatever, if you hire someone, whatever, and now you're just overseeing that, right? So that's the CEO mindset. So if you notice, the systems and everything you do doesn't change. You are just delegating, handing them out, and you're overseeing, right? So I don't know, that was kind of a tangent. So but a lot of times right, so a lot of times you have stuff on your to-do list that honestly don't belong to you, or it may belong to you, but you might not have enough runway. I'm going to show you the chart in a bit, or actually I'll show it to you now, right? Oh, it's backwards. I don't know if I can switch it right now. There we go. All right. Okay, so right, this is the time wheel that I was talking about earlier today on my live, on my regular page. But if you see the 4 quadrants, right? Time and money, they are directly proportionate of each other, but I just want to focus on time for today. I've talked about the time versus money thing before, but I just want to focus on time right now, right? You have your home life, right, which is your mom hat, your social life, which is like your friend hat, and then relationships. Whether this is what I call the wife hat, right? You have a relationship with your significant other, and that's what I call it, your core relationships, right? So a lot of times, just look, when you do your brain dump, this is what I want you to do. Categorize them into these 3 different categories. Relationships with significant other, your home life, which is your mom hat, and your social life, which is your friend hat, right? So wife, mom, friend, right? These are the 3 hats that we usually wear. Look at your to-do list or your priorities list, because if it's on your brain and you're really struggling with getting everything done, that means it feels like a priority to you, right? That means it feels like a priority to you. Ooh, I added the flash function so you can see better. Anywho, categorize them into these different categories. And when you are looking at at your list. Honestly, friend hat, are friends important? Yes. And I put in here social life. These are things like community, even volunteer work, even, yeah, just stuff that you have to do that belongs to other people, right? So this time block, I've talked about it before in the other group. You guys may have missed it, but the time block is really about relationships and who you're spending time with, right? If you look at your calendar, most of the time appointments on your calendar have someone else attached to them, right? Like the meeting I missed this morning was with Sheila, my social media manager. We are planning out my launch, and I missed the meeting because I wasn't on my calendar. Not that it was less important to me. I just broke my own system and I didn't put it on my calendar. So it's fixed now. It's on my calendar as a recurring event every Wednesday. Thank you. So there is that. Also, when you put things on your calendar, here's a sidebar. When you put things on your calendar, you will automatically block off that time, and it's preserved. You'll stop double booking yourself. And you also need to include travel time. Right now we're mostly working from home, but do you even have gaps in between appointments, like for potty breaks or whatever? But if you're going for broke all day, like I have across the board like a time slot for lunch. And I didn't used to have that because I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, what if someone wants to schedule and it's blocked off? Then I got to thinking, like, what if someone wants to schedule? Would I skip lunch for them? You know, and that's being real. Would you skip lunch to have an appointment with someone? I don't know. That's your prerogative, but I was doing that, and my health, like I was starving by the time 3 p.m. hit, and I was just like ravenous and eating everything in sight. Not good. So yeah, so this is that empowerment piece too, right? We'll talk about health another day, like, get into depth, but I just want to reiterate that when you are brain dumping your priorities, one, right, categorize them in wife, mom, friend category, and then when you're looking at them, so part of what I have to do is I'm part of a women's ministry, and I'm the communications chair person for the organization. Is it aligned with my calling? I'm like, yes, I want to serve God, so it is a higher priority. Or let's say I have like a girls' night out and I'm feeling sick. Would I cancel my girls? Probably. I mean, especially with COVID, you're not supposed to go out if you feel sick. But you know, knowing what's really important and what's aligned with your purpose should be dictating what's on your calendar, right? And another thing too is scheduling when things are on your calendar. Right, I lost my post-it note, my cheat sheet. Yeah, you know, when you list everything on your list, like everything that's stuck in your brain, and like, oh my gosh, I need to get to it, I need to get to it, and there's this nagging happening in your brain, and it's causing anxiety, frustration, overwhelm, all of the things, right? Look at everything that you dumped out onto the sheet of paper. Is it really a priority? And what makes it a priority, is it aligned with your calling and your purpose, right? If it's not, right? Think about it. Can you delegate it? Can you outsource it? Or can you automate it? Like, is there a system for that? Like, I use something simple like grocery shopping, for example. If you use Costco, let's say Costco.com, it saves your shopping list. Or even like in Amazon, you can have those dash buttons set up to remind you when you need to reorder something, right? There's so I mean, thankfully to marketing, right? They want you to repurchase whatever you bought in the past, right? So there's systems already out there created to remind you what's important, and that you can just take it out of your brain and have that bad boy automating in the background for you. Even something as simple as shopping. Or, yeah. Okay, number 3. Okay, now we're gonna get more into depth on the quadrants of the wheel. Right, you can't tell that this is a different color. My printer is not printing in color right now, so it's black and white. But if you get the PDF download of this, there are different colors. You can see there's different shades of gray. But, right, time, identity, money, and empowerment, right? Systems, for me, are all about empowering you to be the best version of yourself and live your life now. Let's see. So we kind of like beat the time over the head, right? But having time is really important. So let's talk about identity, right? If you look at them, it's faith, creativity, and joy, right? I'll just keep that up there. Like, do you need to see my face? Anyway, faith, creativity, and joy. Right? If you are not feeling particularly like up in your faith and you've lost faith, right? Kind of, you're feeling down, right? That means you're not living in your identity. If you've lost creativity, if you lost creative flow, you're not creating from your identity space. And if you've lost joy, right? Joy and happiness are different. Happiness is external, joy comes from within. And if you're a Christian, right, joy comes from the Lord. So if you're not experiencing joy in the task that you're doing, look at it. Is it really aligned to your purpose and your calling? Is it? I don't know. That's something that you're going to have to really do a heart check on. M, money. We're going in order. T-I-M-E, money. Finances. Right, if you're... So this one is a hard one to explain into depth. I'll probably do another just training on the money quadrant. But when you're brain dumping and there's so much on your plate just focused on finances and like earning and getting money, you probably feel wasted and worn out, right? And finances, it's actually more about like, are your finances giving you stress? Like just the financial planning and stuff. And then career is more your business, right? Because this handout is for people who have businesses who are still working at corporate. But your career, are you aligned in your career? Is this the path that God has you on? Education. So for those of you who are in other coaching programs or taking online courses or even like going back to regular school, this is continuing education. If you have too many of these on your plate, you really have to rethink that. Because when I first moved to California, signed up for a mastermind, a high-ticket mastermind. Hey, Sheila. And I tell you, I had so many education, like I'm off screen, had so many education time blocks on my calendar. Is crazy. And then I was just getting burnt out attending all of these classes. And like, I'm not even getting any work done. Like, yes, it's good to attend these, and right, I needed to find more friends in California. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, my schedule was just overloaded. And there are things I needed to do in my business as I wasn't getting my work done because I was attending too many classes. Give me a hands up if you feel me, you're into too many coaching programs. Okay. So that's the money piece. Okay, the empowerment piece, right? This is health, environment, and performance, personal performance, right? Your health. When your health is down, that means you have low energy. Um, I've talked about it before, but your brain is your biggest asset. Your brain is your biggest asset as an entrepreneur. Without you at the head, without you being the visionary, like your business can't function. If you, like yesterday I had, and this is what, well, Sheila, you might appreciate this. This is why I forgot I had the meeting with Sheila yesterday, because, or today, because yesterday I was so tired, so wasted. Um, I spent too much time in the friend bucket that it deteriorated my health, and then I had brain fog, brain fart, whatever you want to call it, and I forgot an important meeting for my career today. So I'm telling you, these are all aligned, right? Health is super important. I mean, it's so important for me that I drive all the way down to San Diego to see a practitioner. One, she's Christian, and I know that she's rooted and grounded in the Lord, but she takes a different approach that is not regular Western medicine, which I don't agree with. I I've tried Western medicine, and they couldn't find out what was wrong with me. Not until I went to the more holistic side were they able to figure out that I had adrenal burnout. Before that, I was just like trying all these different things, hormone replacement therapy, all of this stuff didn't work. Not until I saw a holistic practitioner. I was looking for one in California, couldn't find one. I really wanted to make sure they were aligned with me. I didn't want to just see some quack. I wanted to make sure, one, they were spiritually aligned, and because of what's happening now in the world, energetically wanted to be aligned with them. And my friend Jody, she's great. I love her. Oh yeah, blinded by shiny objects. Yes. Okay, so environment. Many of you know, right? Welcome to my studio, my new office. It's in the middle of my dining room, guys. So talk about environment. I stayed up late Sunday night getting my office kind of organized so I could function. I don't know about you, but when things are out of place and I can't find things, it really stresses me out. Because I'm that person that just wants everything to be easy. Like, oh, where's my thing? Oh, boom, right there. So that's why I'm really anal about how I organize my life and how I structure everything, because I just want it to be easy. Maybe I am OCD, but I function a lot better when my environment, my physical environment is organized. So that's environment piece, right? You have to make sure your environment empowers you and doesn't drain you. Right? That's why there's a picture of a battery, because this is the piece that you want to empower, you want to recharge. And if it's a drain, it's like life sucking, right? So this affects your performance, right? Your health, your environment affects your performance. And with I have a formula that I use. It's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, right? I grade myself. I give myself a number from 1 to 10 every day as like a end of workday task. I have a reminder in my task management system that asks me how were my pens today, and I give myself a score in the performance category in all the right physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And because however I'm performing, it will directly reflect, or like if I'm not experiencing faith, creativity, and joy, that has a direct reflection. That has a direct reflection to my empowerment and my performance. So if these are low, I look back and I'm like, did I spend time with God today? Usually, if my spirituality is down, I didn't spend time with God or with around godly people and getting my spiritual side fed. And is my faith down, right? That will directly affect my performance. And if I'm not experiencing creativity, if I'm not, dancing, singing, like having my creative outlet, my emotional score goes way down. Okay, so yep, we went around the whole circle. This is the time management wheel that Sheila, we put this out there on the internet. Right now it just exists in my Google Drive, which doesn't do anyone any good. Anyway, what I want to say is, when you're looking at your quadrants, right? Here's the directions on how to score yourself. And if you want it, just comment below and I'll give it to you. I'll probably just load the PDF here as a downloadable right now, since the group is small and I know all of you. But in the future, I'll probably have it on a landing page. Right? Look at each section and place a dot on the line closest to each word, right? So right above the word education, that's the line that you use for education. How satisfied you are with each area of life, right? This is 0. 0 is at the center of the wheel. 10 is on the outer, right? So you go around the circle, you score yourself. If you're not 10, or if you find, what I find is you're probably spending too much time and energy in one of these quadrants. So if your scores are really low, you'll probably see that they correlate to these quadrants, right? If your identity is low, your empowerment is probably going to be low, right? And if your time, like if you're spending way too much time in the wife, mom, friend hat, you're probably not working on your business. Sorry, not sorry. Right? Or if you're spending way too much time out here and you're feeling extremely burnt out by your business, you probably are not spending enough time with the people who matter. Right? So, like I said, score yourself in these quadrants. Let me know if you want it. Give me a comment in the chat box and I'll send it to you. But really, score yourself and you'll see the pattern. And that's how you know your priorities are not aligned to your purpose, right? It's just not. And so with that, let me know what was your biggest aha or takeaway from today's training, and what steps are you going to take to improve your score in that quadrant, or if you have a quadrant that's super low, right? That's a sign. That's a sign that you're close to burnout. So I kind of look at the wheel like a flat tire, right? Say you're blowing it up in your career. You're making massive money, but your relationship quadrant is low, right? Right? You could have lost all your friends. Your kids could, maybe they hate you and they resent you for having a business. And then your relationship with your husband. I was looking, and Jeff Bezos, right? He's on the brink of divorce. Like so many powerful billionaires, entrepreneurs are on the brink of divorce. And I don't know if it's the money. I don't know if it's, because they're not in alignment anymore. Like when Jeff started, maybe it's like, yay, hurrah. But now that he's grown to this like epic status, he feels like maybe his wife isn't coming along. I know a lot of entrepreneurs who have gotten divorced because they're in growth mindset, but their spouses were not. Their spouses were okay with status quo, and they say they grew apart, which I call BS on that. If you grow apart because one partner is in growth mindset and one is not, one, you're probably stuck in the spirit of pride. You just need to get off that. You just need to. Because without your husband or your wife having supported you this whole time, your business would have been in the toilet. You couldn't have done it all yourself. Just my 2 cents for the day. And like if your kids, like say I had struggles with my son. I just did because I was too busy working. Not on purpose, but I didn't know how to say no to my job, and there was just so much work and overtime. I would just say yes to every project because I was trying so hard to get out of my department and work my way up the ladder, because I thought once I got up the ladder, my life would be better, right? I could have a consistent schedule. I wouldn't have to be on this shift work rotation. And it was just, my son didn't, I mean, what kid would understand that your mom is choosing work over spending time with him? What kid would understand that? No, none. And so anyway, so there's that piece. And I just want you to look and see if your wheel is balanced. If it's not, you know, let me know. I'd love to have a conversation with you and see where, and this is what I see in most of the people that I talk to. Once you have the aha moment, the transformation comes really quickly. The people who don't get any results working for me refuse to see that their career is overstepping the boundaries of their relationships. Plain and simple. And it took me a couple of really hard lessons to understand that, you know, I had blowouts in my personal life that were just like aha moments and wake up calls for me to say that, your life is not balanced. You're putting way too much effort and focus on your career, and you lost these relationships. Right? God, I've been married 3 times. So, like, don't do as I did, do as I do now. And, you know, if you're struggling and, like, this is really hitting you in the heart, let me know. I'd love to hop on a call with you and just talk it out, right? It's no obligation, but let's just talk it out and just see where the blocks are and why you feel like you have to work so hard. Right? Yeah. There's no reason why you should have to work so hard. There is a balance. There is a purpose in your life. Just focus on your purpose. Focus on the people you're called to serve. And I promise you, it will all balance out. So hope you guys have a great week. Sorry I made you cry. Just know that I love you and I care about you, and I wouldn't be pushing this hard if I didn't care, if I didn't see it happening so much in the world. I mean, it even happens with my high ticket clients, you know. And as a project manager, you know, for my done for you clients, I ask, I'm like, okay, because I know some of the contractors that work with us, my client is not their only client. They have other clients. And right, Sheila has other clients. It's how I found her. She was working for Linda and I found her. And I'm very, time is important, and time with family and balancing that whole time thing is super important to me. I make sure that the people that are working with me, for me, aren't feeling burnt out or exhausted, or even, because it leads to resentment, and we don't want to have that. Like, you don't want to resent your business. If you're resenting your business, your purpose and your priorities are not aligned. That's it. And if you want to get rid of resentment, frustration, and overwhelm, you need to align your priorities and your purpose. So with that, love all of you, signing off for today. If you've had any questions on what I talked about, what I covered, and if you, oh, you're welcome, Sheila. You know, if you have any questions or you want the download, you want this worksheet so you can work on it, let me know and I'll just send you the PDF. Okay? Talk to you guys again next week. Bye.